Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Liu and I'm a first year intern with Epic in New York City. I graduated from Columbia in May and I just wanted to share with you about my Epic Summer Project experience of how God brought me there and what I learned and how I've changed since. So it all begins my freshman year with a junior named Kai who bugged me to go on summer project. Naturally, I refused to consider the idea. I said, look, I'm majoring in biomedical engineering. I need to find a research job so that I can have some experience and cash for the summer. This goes on for 2 years, and then Kai graduates, and I'm like, yes, nobody else would tell me to go on summer project. God managed to find 3 other people over the course of 3 consecutive weekends in October who were completely unaffiliated with each other, but they all asked me, hey Jess, have you thought about going on missions this summer? I said, no, but you're not the first one to ask. One of these women was super persistent, and by the end of the night, she was just like, just pray about it. It's like, fine. I remember going home that night thinking, okay, God, I get it. You want me to go on missions. I'm not gonna go. Don't you understand how this is supposed to work? I'm a junior. I'm supposed to have a summer internship so that I can get a job after I graduate so that I'm not a homeless bum. Fast forward to February, when I go to Epic Conference. It is one of the most amazingly healing times of my life. God met me in a lot of places where I was hurting. I didn't realize that there was a lot of how my cultural upbringing had affected my view of myself and my relationship with God. One of the most profound things that I heard that conference was that we are human beings and not human doings. Anyway, over the course of that weekend, God also gave me a huge sense of perspective. He said, Jess, you have 45 summers ahead of you to work. What's one summer for me? Just one. I said, oh, good point. By the end of the conference, he had brought me to a point where I could surrender and say, God, I give you my summer. Please have it how you will. And so I went home and applied for summer project. Now by this time I had already applied for summer internships at pharmaceutical companies, and when my parents found out, they were confused and a little concerned. They said, well, what are you going to do if you get into both? What are you going to choose? How much does it cost to go on summer project? Where is that money going to come from? You have to raise it all? Are you going to be able to do that? I said, I don't know, but I do know 2 things. 1, if God calls me, I'm going to go, and 2, He'll provide everything I need. And he said, this is between you and God, pray about it, we trust you. About a month later, it's the weekend before I'm supposed to hear back from my summer internships, and I am freaking out because I really had no idea what I was going to do. So I prayed, God, if you really want me to go on missions this summer, please don't let me get into my first choice internship. This is something that I had been dreaming about since August, but that was my prayer. 2 days later, I got the reject email and I said, yes, I didn't get in. I'm going on summer project. God decided to test that less than 24 hours later with a voicemail from the same company, First Choice, saying, hi, we'd like to interview you for a summer internship. I was really confused. I was like, look, I already applied and interviewed and got rejected from this company. God, what are you doing? I didn't know. But by the end of the night, I decided that I had asked God for a sign and he had given it to me, so I wasn't going to test him anymore. So that's how I ended up going on summer project, and it was the most amazing summer of my life. It was really special to me for 4 reasons. The first is that it was the first time I understood that God had made me Asian with a reason, and it wasn't an accident. So I was on a team of 29 Asian American students from all over the US in Hawaii, which is the only US state that is over 50% Asian. And so as an Asian team, we had an in with the locals that other people groups didn't necessarily have. So that was really cool. The second was that was community. I'd never experienced community like that before, where for 7 weeks we lived together, we ate together, we played together, we prayed together, we shared our faith together, we explored our cultural identity together, we had conflicts together, we grew together. And it was something that was really beautiful and something that I took back to campus senior year. Just made me really value the relationships that I did have, especially given the limited amount of time before graduation. And The third thing that made Epic Summer Project so special for me was that it was a place where God grew in me a heart for the lost and a love for evangelism. I came into Summer Project so uncomfortable with sharing my faith. I made my partner do all the talking the first day, and I was forced to do it more times the first week than I ever had in my whole life. It was really uncomfortable, but by the third week in, I realized that this was my favorite part of the day, that I really enjoyed talking to people about God. And by the end of project, I had an opportunity to take one of the locals out and train him in sharing his faith. So it was really awesome to see where God had brought me in such a short amount of time. And that love for evangelism is something I took back to campus with me, as I found that I had a desire to share the gospel with people around me. And the fourth thing that was because Summer Project was the first place that I'd ever been challenged to consider interning, and it's the reason why I'm here now. The staff pulled the seniors out and said, hey, these are your opportunities with Crusade or Epic after you graduate. You can intern, you can stint, you can join full-time staff. And I'm thinking, nope, absolutely not. Who does that? I mean, staff, I love you guys, but so not for me. I'm a BME major. Of what use is that in campus ministry? Wouldn't I be so much more useful in the pharmaceutical industry? I mean, people need Jesus here too. But God has changed my heart tremendously since then, but that's a story for another time. Well, if you have any questions, I would love to talk to you about a summer project or conference or interning. My email is jessica.y.liu@gmail.com. Yeah, thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all at Epic Conference or hopefully Epic Summer Project.